And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
And getting bigger all the time if I keep eating this damn airline food. I'm back from Ireland with my man Josh Thomson. I've been back home now for at least, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
That's about an hour longer than me, my friend. No.
See, there you go.
It's been good though. I thought the show was good. I thought the crowd is always amazing, but the people are always amazing. Everything ran really smooth. You know, it felt good.
No,
well, yeah, Jay, you had a different experience than I. You had a different experience than I. My experience was really good. So
I'm glad your experience was really good. So it was good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I will
let you speak.
Yeah.
Speak to me, my man.
It was fun to, the Euro series used to be my series when I would go to Europe and you didn't like to travel. And so it kind of made it out because they had the young guy to go ahead and do all the traveling, fucking, and put miles on my ass.
Put it all on me, baby. It's all right. I like that.
It worked out perfectly because I loved it. And it gave me the
did.
experience of calling fights cage side, working with different people. And
you can thank me now.
What's that?
You can thank me.
Yeah, thank you.
I gave you a fucking
thank
you platform.
Yeah. Your wife was like, thank God Josh is fucking signed with these guys so he could fucking go. Oh man. And I had flashbacks of, doing that because I did all those shows for a long time, for about 2 years, and then COVID hit and we just got away from them. But shit, it was fun. Had a lot of good times and being able to call fights with Dave Farah and then Aiden came, after the very first Euro show we did in Newcastle, Aiden came on board and Aiden was just been a pleasure to work with. And, he was a guy I worked with at the desk, and Dave Farr was the guy I called the fights with at the cage side. And so they had the whole crew back together this time. It's very rare that we're actually all on the card, as well as all the American ones too that come out. So we had a great time. Fights were good. People were nice. Fans were great. I even had friends that came over from the US, and they were there actually for it because they wanted to experience while in that arena. And man, it was great. It was a blast. We had a good time. My little nephew was there. He was there, and he was hitting on the ring girls. He's like all of 5 years old. I got a bunch of pictures of him with Louise. So I thought it was great. He's like, I want to go see my friend.
Well, if you're going to hit on the ring girls, pick the
right one.
Pick the right one, baby. There you go.
Yes, he did.
I love it. I thought we had a very good time. Dave, did you get that picture I just sent you?
Yeah, you ready for it?
Yeah. Well, because Josh, I know that we took Josh out. We took Josh out for. Baby, take a look at that.
Oh yeah, that's the
look at that young Josh Thomson right there. And I love that picture. That's a great picture,
Old
dude.
School.
You actually were a cute kid who was. Look at military and out with the Vans shoes on.
Yeah, gotta rock them.
Slip-on Vans, checkerboards.
Gotta rock them. Got the hemmed up pants too. They've been hemmed a couple times.
That's all right, man. It's the hand-me-down pants, man.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's good stuff.
Used to rock it, man. Look at the old school couches in the back with the plaid lining. Oh, look at that too. That's a TV in the far left corner. Look at that little tiny thing. Jeez.
Look at that thing.
Jeez. Oh man. Oh yeah, it was.
But it was
we
good.
Had a good time. Man.
The whole thing was.
There was
good.
A lot of good things. Had a nice dinner for my birthday out there while we were out there because the day I landed there, which was I think on Thursday there. It was Thursday there, so it was the 21st.
Well, you took off the day before, but you landed on your birthday.
Yeah, so it was nice. I got there and I was like, I wasn't expecting much, just to kind of, get some drinks maybe with you and dinner with you, and then that was it. And everyone was kind of in on it, and they did a nice little thing for me on air, which I loved, and I appreciate that very much to start off the show.
At least it was at least having to work on your birthday. You knew that people cared about
it. Did feel good.
That was the big part.
It did feel good.
It's good.
And the group is real. Hey, that's one thing about our group, man. The group of people that we work with, and I've heard this from other people that have worked. All the guys that we work with, they all do a ton of other sports and a ton of other shows. And they produce and direct all these other shows, and they commentate other shows. Not just fighting, but they do football like Amanda does. She does football, she does basketball, she does all this, baseball, she does all of that. And she's like, I work with a lot of other people. She's like, I can just tell you stories about how no one really gets along with each other, or people don't really get along with each other, or like there's only like one or two people you get along with and you hang out. We hang out almost every single show as a group. It's like a total of, we've got pictures of like, there's probably 15 of us, that it's always us. The director, the producer, the executive producer, the tape guy, the sound guy, the audio, all these things. Some of the camera people, replay guys. Like, we all get along, which is very rare. From what I understand, they're like, no, there's actually, people that were like, no, if that producer or that director or that audio guy's on,
they're working. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want that job. I'm good. I don't need it. Yeah. I'm like, wow, you're turning money down because you don't like someone? That's really strange to me. I'm like, you just learn to deal with it. But no, they just say no. Yeah. No. But it's it just feels good to work with people that you get along with. And from the top to the bottom, man, even from the fighter ops people.
We got some good ones.
The fighter ops people are amazing as well. You got Cariana, you got MJ, you've got, Jane, Estioko, all those, they all work together. They're all great people. So, good time as always. Great times. You guys can probably hear a little bit in our voice. It seems like we're a little tired.
A little tired? I wonder why.
Yeah, that's good though.
Let's see. Hold on. I have now been up for going on 24 hours.
Yeah, not me.
It's all right.
Not me. I hit that plane, man. I hadn't even pushed off yet. I was out. Oh man, it's the greatest.
Good
thing.
night,
John. I can sleep on a flight. I had on the long flight. I had Thiago Alves in front of me, and then I had Dustin Poirier in front of me, and Mike Brown was, I think, behind me 2 rows. But yeah, we were all there, and we were just staggering with each other. But I could take a look, and as we were getting, I looked up after I kind of woke up about an hour and a half before the flight landed. So a good 6.5 hours I slept.
That's good timing right there.
It was awesome. I missed the meal going, but I got the meal right before we landed, and it was out. A nice little. We got in a whole hour early into Atlanta. Yeah. So, but I was with I had Amanda, Nordy, Fish, and Jay were all on my flight. So all of us were on the same flight. Yeah. So Jay actually sat right in front of me, so I just kept kicking his seat until I fell asleep.
Dude, just keep smacking him.
He's great, man. He's a great guy. But yeah, so yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and. You want to talk about Bellator first? You want to talk about the UFC first?
No,
Let's go right into the UFC. Let's go right to the UFC.
Got the UFC up there, so we'll go to the UFC. Since I did watch it, as I sat in Chicago for 4 hours, let's go.
All right, we got Gamrot versus Fiziev was the main event, and what number was this? It was at the UFC Apex. Did they have a number on it, or are they just calling it
79?
What was it called?
UFC Vegas 79.
79. Man, they're getting up in those numbers too, because they started using this during COVID. 79. Whew. But what was your take on this fight?
Let's be honest. You didn't get to see what you expected and stuff. I thought it was exactly what we were looking at when we were breaking it down. What was going to happen? Gamrot was looking for the takedown. He tried tree chopping him a couple of times, and Fiziev showed great technique, great balance, a lot of athleticism. But you saw that Gamrot was actually starting to get into taking him down. Took him down. Fiziev, very intelligently moved himself over towards the cage, used the cage to get himself back to his feet. And then you had the freak accident of, he hurt something in his leg. I still don't know what it is. I'm not sure that they do right now either, but he injured himself off of a kick, and it was the end of the fight. The kick, the leg landed kind of on the elbow, but I'm not sure that that's exactly what was the injury part.
No, it was actually the other leg. It was the planted leg. It wasn't the one he kicked with.
So then, do you believe it was the knee?
I believe it was the knee, but then when I saw the replay, they were massaging out his quad.
I know. It's like, did he tear his quad? I don't know.
I didn't look like it.
And it's still, I looked to see. No, it didn't look. Look, his inner quad was there. You saw his outer quad, going there. Because normally you'll see it gets wadded up in there. but I went and I looked online to see if there was, they came up with something, and
Nothing yet.
No, there's nothing that has officially been said about what type of injury he received.
Yeah, Dave, can you maybe take a look at it
too bad.
and see maybe if there's something that came up in the last 20 minutes or so, or an hour, if something came up on what the actual injury was. I mean, from everything I read, it said knee, and
it said knee?
it said his knee. So knee injury. It reminds me of Patrick Cote and Anderson Silva.
Okay.
Remember when he kind of hopped in and he was actually, was doing well. He had
but you could actually see his pop.
His knee moved and shift.
You could actually see it, as the replay showed, and a lot of times you'll see it. Didn't see anything with it. And I'm not saying, obviously it happened because he went down right away, and it wasn't, the guy has kicked everything, there is. So he knows how to kick, and he kicks hard as hell. He is incredibly fast.
Oh,
I love watching that guy move.
it wasn't just his kicks, John, and his punching. His takedown defense was fucking super impressive.
Oh, dude, he was just incredible. Yeah.
Cat-like reflexes. I mean, his flexibility. And when you look at him, you think to yourself, this guy's not that flexible. You saw Gamrot try to tree top him, and he just balanced on one foot, and then he was able to turn his knee down and then get out. I wonder, though.
Dude, what are you talking about? He's not flexible. His damn leg was almost straight up and down at one point.
No, that's what I'm saying. When I look at him, I'm thinking to myself, he's not that flexible. But then the reality set in when Gamrot went to tree top him. He had him up on his leg. He was bouncing around. Then he was able to turn his knee down and it's kind of like give it like a little mule kick out. I kind of wonder, though, if his knee was compromised a little bit from those takedown defenses.
It might have been there.
Then the second round, it just finally gave way. Because
very possible.
Yeah, because he was doing some insane stuff when his knee was hiked up. He was also in the scrambles. He was turning himself real fast, explosively left and right. And Gamrot was chasing the legs and wasn't able to get him fully all the way down in that first round. It was very impressive, though. I was extremely impressed.
But I was impressed by Gamrot in the way that he was attacking him, as far as he wasn't taking ridiculous shots. He was using his hands to get inside. It's one of those fights when you look and you go, all right, Josh, based upon what you saw, who is going to win that fight?
Oh, I thought it was going to be Gamrot.
Okay.
Yeah. From what I saw, I thought Gamrot was going to win. I just, look, in a 5-round fight, I just think that Fiziev, it showed against Bobby Green. He showed against other fighters.
I will tell you exactly.
To slow down.
He slows down. And using all that quickness and all that energy, I was like, it's probably going to end up starting to go Gamrot, and it ended. But it still could be that Fiziev would
Oh, absolutely.
Won. It was a good fight. It was interesting up to that point. It just happens. Guys get injured. It's a tough sport.
Yeah, I didn't get quite enough sample size out of that fight to give an honest answer on who I thought would win. And but from what I saw, the way that Gamrot was able to still keep it to not get the takedown, but still did some good stuff on the feet in that first round. The way he was chasing the takedowns, but not really jeopardizing his positioning when doing it. That led me to believe that he's going to go ahead and be aggressive throughout the second, the third. And if you take, like I said, the history of Fiziev fighting Bobby Green, Fiziev fighting Gaethje, Fiziev fighting certain guys, right? He explosive. Everything he does comes with a lot of power, a lot of explosiveness. That means that as the fight goes on, they becomes less. Sure, they're more explosive even later on, but there becomes less output on it, so less chance for you to potentially get the knockout and the win. Whereas Gamrot, we saw him against Sarukian, and he was still there in that third, fourth round. Like, he's a dog, and that's majority of those type of wrestlers are. They just the grind. They call it the grind for a reason, because they know that they may not win the first round, and if they do, then that's fine. But then their whole goal is to win you and wear you down second round, win you, wear you down third. This is a 5-round fight, main event status, baby.
Make every round count, make every round harder than next one coming up.
Yeah, and I think that as this fight would have continued to play out, I think Gamrot would have been able to get a takedown here or there in that second round, going into the third. And then as you get one, the second comes a little bit easier, the third comes a little bit easier. And but look, you can never count Fiziev out. And like I said, I didn't get quite enough sample size yet, because you can see the power he possesses in his kicks, his hands, all of those things, body shots, everything he does. It just comes with a ton of heat. So you can't count him out. But I would have leaned towards the wrestlers, to be honest. Yeah,
It was it was a competitive fight as they were going. But you got to figure it's going to start fairly slow. It's a 5-round fight. There's a lot to go through, and it was going through that progression, and it just ended. It just that's what happens.
Well, so this is Fiziev's second loss in a row. Can you click on Fiziev, or did he have a win in between the Gaethje and second loss?
No, yeah, Justin Gaethje in his second
round. Pull up the rankings. Where does Fiziev go from here, and where does Gamrot go from here? Let's pull up the rankings.
Well, it's funny, but you got to look. Fiziev was actually ranked ahead of Gamrot, and they've got to switch places. Yeah. Even though it was an injury-based TKO win, they've got to switch places. It's a win. Yeah. It's part of fighting is self-inflicted injury sometimes is what will end the fight. This is kind of like a self-inflicted injury. Maybe it was based on the elbow, but that was Fiziev hitting that elbow. But it's got to be a switch in those positions at this point.
Well, I look at so for Fiziev, right? He's already fought. He hasn't fought Sarukian yet. He'll be out for a while though, so I'm not really sure how this will all shake out after all of this.
No, yeah.
Maybe on a return fight, maybe someone like a Grant Dawson.
Possibly.
It depends on how long he's going to be out, but I'd imagine if he did tear something in his knee, he'll be out for at least 9 months. I'd say at least 9 months. I mean, he seems like he's pretty strict about his diet, nutrition, the way he takes care of his body. I think he'll be able to recover and come back probably. I don't know how old is he? What, 33, 32, 33? Fiziev. Anyways, but that being said, so Fiziev. But then Gamrot, I look at he's already come up short against
30.
Oh, he's 30. So he's right in his prime, which sucks. You're losing a year, 8 months of your prime.
No, he's still young, man. He hasn't even reached that prime.
But when I look at Gamrot, he's already got a loss against Beneil Dariush. But the fight really to make would be him and Michael Chandler.
You think so, huh?
Oh yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, I had a good chance to chat just real quick with Dustin while we were at the airport, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't give Dustin a title shot. I think if after whoever fights, so Charles fights this one right here, right? And then I think Justin's going to get the next title shot. There's no one really there for Dustin to fight. Maybe you have him fight Beneil Dariush, but like Dustin's kind of, I think, at the point in his career.
Dustin has fought everybody.
Yeah, he wants the biggest fight you could potentially give him. And
you can't blame him.
Dariush isn't the biggest fight for him anymore. It was right maybe before that, but Justin was actually the bigger fight. That's why he fought Justin. Came up short. Maybe he fights, Charles. If Charles loses, then that puts him right there being next in line for another title shot. I don't know, but as I'm looking at all this, I think you put Gamrot. I'd like to see Gamrot and Chandler because Chandler's kind of in that no man's land. And if I'm talking about
Gamrot and Dustin, they're both from ATT. I'm not saying they won't fight. But.
Yeah, I actually, but I don't think Dustin would take that fight. He's not ranked high enough. He hasn't beat any big names. This is his biggest name he's beaten, and Sarukian, and that was a very close fight, by the way. And so I think for Dustin, he's like, nah. I'm looking for the Charles and the Islam and if I got to run it back with Justin again, he'll do that. I don't think I think below Dariush and Chandler and those guys I don't think he's really feeling it. I need a big money fight. And that's why I think there might be potential for him to possibly go up in weight. And I think if Colby does win, I could see Dustin going, you know what, for the title at 170, I might go up there. I might go up there and fight Colby.
Well, it's not like he's afraid.
No, we know that.
It's like
that's what the crazy thing is. How many people are going to say he's afraid of him? Oh, you didn't go. You're afraid of him. Oh my God, Dustin Poirier is not afraid of fucking anyone.
Dustin Poirier is not afraid of Godzilla. Okay, if Godzilla was real and it was fucking doing, Dustin's not afraid of him. Okay, Dustin is a fucking dog. Mm-hmm. Dustin is you talk about a guy. He came from a tough background. He did not have it easy. He was in juvenile hall for a while and stuff because, he didn't have his shit together. And fighting is what kind of set him, straight. He's got a great wife, was his girlfriend for a long time. She kind of set him straight.
They've been together since
he's
middle
been
school.
through the ringer.
They've been together since middle school.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But he's been through the ringer, man. He's had some tough times, and he continuously takes a loss and comes back better and gets win after win, and he's exactly what you want to have, representing the sport in my mind. He's just a great person.
Yeah, I look at, to go back on what we were talking about though with Fiziev, we'll see where the dust settles, after his knee injury and how long he's actually out for. But I look at Gamrot, and I think the person that's floating around in there in no man's land will be Michael Chandler, because he's already got a loss to Dariush. No reason to go run that fight back. He got dominated in that fight.
You're saying Gamrot?
Gamrot's got a loss. Yeah. So I look at Michael Chandler being the only one there. He's not lined up for a fight right now. It's supposed to be Connor.
Well, he's lined up for a fight. That fight that's just not happening.
Not happening.
Man.
I don't think it's happening.
It's just not happening.
I mean, I heard there was they bet and they're supposed to be getting that fight to happen, but
I had heard the same thing, and then it fell apart again.
We'll see what happens. All right, and the next fight in the co-main event, you got Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige.
I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed the fight. I was impressed. I knew that Bryce Mitchell had a good ground game. I didn't think it was quite, I thought, when I say good, I thought it was good. I didn't think that he would actually, for the most part, dominate Dan Ige on the ground. He got great positions. And Josh, I'm going to tell you, I want to say it was the third round. There was that transition from just the art of the takedown that he did. If you watched in the takedown and how he swept the leg out from where he was at, and the way he took the back was just absolute art. It was so fucking cool, so beautifully done. I was so impressed with his ground and the way he did things. And I expect Dan Ige to hang tough. I expect Dan Ige to not give in. And he did it, and near the end, he was mounted.
Yeah.
So you look and you go, but I was very impressed with the way that Bryce Mitchell handled a guy that we know's got power, and he definitely cracked him a couple of times. But overall, Dan Ige was winning the first round, and then Bryce kind of got it back. There was two judges that gave it to Dan, but then Bryce took over, in the fight for the most part, being able to just outposition and do good work. Wasn't able to get the submission. I didn't think he would be able to, but goddamn, I'll tell you what, there was some moments in that third round. I'll tell you that sequence from that takedown to that back take was absolutely beautiful.
When I looked at the fight in that first round, and I was thinking to myself, Bryce Mitchell's running into a brick wall again. He's having a hard time. And I saw the look I saw a look on his face, almost in moments like he looked like, shit, I'm not able to get this guy down. Shit, I'm working really hard for this. I'm not able to hold him there. Like, what's going on? And the look on his face was, I'm getting tired. And then in the second round, it just kind of came together for him. A little bit of almost like, okay, he went to his corner, he got a deep breath.
I don't even say it was in the second round. I think it was towards the end of the first round.
It was.
When he was able to change the position and start to do some good work, it was like, okay, I'm going to be
good. But that's exactly what I remember what I was talking about with the Gamrot and the Fiziev fight, was that once you get the first one, the second and the third, they're still hard, but they come a little bit easier. The defenses. And
there's also, if I did it once, I know I can do it.
Yeah. And then the person that you're taking down is like, I better stop this. There's more pressure on them to stop it. And then they make a mistake or they fight a little bit too hard in the wrong position, put themselves in a bad position, whatever it is. But yeah, I agree. Bryce Mitchell, though, he fought hard when he finally did get that first top position, was able to control it for a while. And then the round ended, I believe. And then the second and third round was just the continuation of that, and Dan had moments where he was able to get back up to his feet and stuff, but for the majority of it, I mean, there was moments where he was in some really deep shit, and Bryce had his back, Bryce had mount, Bryce was doing transitions as Dan was giving his back and then going back to mount, and but Bryce looked good. I thought he looked good. He's going to have to develop better stand-up, though. Look, I'm going to continue this.
Yes.
We are past the fucking being one-dimensional. You cannot be in this sport and be one-dimensional. I mean, we've seen top-level world-class kickboxers, top-level world-class wrestlers and jiu-jitsu guys all come in with just one dimension. And it gets them so far. But then you've got...
It'll get you to that point.
I'll get you in the top 10.
But it won't get you
no
to that one level that you need to get to.
I've seen guys.
No matter how good you are.
I've seen guys. Damian Maia was probably one of them. He was.
Oh, absolutely.
But then he had to go back and get better at his striking. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And his wrestling.
Yeah.
Because look, if you go and you watch Damian Maia when he first went to the UFC, his takedowns were atrocious.
Yeah.
He couldn't take. He pulled guard on everybody. He would pull into a deep half and then get the reversal.
Yeah.
That was his way of working his way to a ground attack. And all of a sudden he started changing. And I want to say it was against Chael when he took Chael down.
Lateral drop Chael.
Dude, I want to say that. And I was like, holy shit.
I still remember this to this day.
Look at that.
I was in fucking shock. Like, there's no way this guy's going to be able to take Chael down. Chael's going to fucking maul this guy. Stuff his takedowns and beat him up on the feet. I'm like, this guy don't have a stamp. Shit. He took Chael down. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Oh, jeez. People don't realize, and I know they go back and they're like, oh, he was a good wrestler. You know, takedowns against Anderson Silva. The guy's a fucking All-American at Oregon, University of Oregon. He was an Olympic alternate. Like, he was fucking good.
Chael was good.
He wrestled at the University of Oregon like he was a fucking stud. He was a stud. And then he was an Olympic alternate, and he was he was fantastic. Some of the best wrestling I've ever seen inside that cage, and the way he chain wrestled, he'd hit the single, run you to the double, hit the fence, couldn't get it, he'd back you up off, and then hit the inside trip. Very Henry Cejudo-esque, I'd say. But it was like for a big guy, though. That's what made him so popular, or not popular, that's what made him so dangerous in there. He just, in the early parts of his career, he just lacked, I think, the confidence, and he lacked a couple different things.
He lacked the stand-up ability of knowing how to throw and get his head off the center line and how to use his feet the right way. He was just throwing punches. Yeah. And then he got with, I want to say it's Clayton. And was it Clayton? I don't want to say it wrong, but the longtime trainer, great guy with his boxing skills. And he changed Chael and gave him confidence in the stand-up. And I want to say Clayton Hines.
I don't know.
I think so. I could be wrong, but I think that's
wasn't
what it
he?
is.
He was with Robert Follis for a long time, wasn't he?
Well, Robert Follis was his grappling and one of his head coaches. But
because Trevor Prangley fought both of them.
Clayton Hines was his stand-up guy, and he loved him and absolutely changed his career.
Yeah, he just to go back, Chael had some of the best wrestling in the game, and the way he could put it all together. And his kryptonite was jiu-jitsu. Anytime he got anything get put on him, he didn't know how to relax and fight out of it. He just he panicked and put himself in a worse position, and he fake tapped quite a bit. He'd done that a couple times before UFC. Oh yeah, he had fake tapped, and so but Chael's is. Like had some of the best wrestling. Bryce Mitchell, he's even got to work on his wrestling. His wrestling's good, but it's not great. You put him against someone like if I was to put Bryce Mitchell, and I'm just throwing, I know they're not the same weight classes, but that guy's never taken fucking Fiziev down. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like the explosiveness, the just the strength and all those things. You're never getting that guy down. You know, and that's what shocked me so much when he fought. I remember when he fought Barboza. I was like, man, Barboza's he's got a lot better takedown defense, and he fucking made Barboza look like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I was on the Bryce Mitchell bandwagon after that. You know, Thug Nasty.
Yeah, but then look at what happened with
Topuria. You know, I mean, there was excuses. Oh, I was on this and on that, whatever it was. Like,
it is what it is. The better fighter won.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm looking forward to see what happens. Go ahead and pull up those rankings there. For Bryce Mitchell, what are you saying? Because Dan Ige is ranked number 12, I think, right now. Is he?
Well, actually, Mitchell was ranked ahead of Dan, so it's not like...
no, I get it. But that's the fight right there.
I don't see you're going to see much movement, if any. I think Bryce is going to be somewhere right in the position that he's at 10.
Yeah.
But this should put him, and there's a couple guys that you could look up. Josh Emmett is starting to slow down a little bit, and his numbers are dropping as far as where he's at. That would be a good fight for him, because he's going to have a hard time getting Josh Emmett down.
Yeah.
He would have a very hard time. And Josh hits hard, but that would be one that you're looking at. That's the kind I would put, because Mitchell, you're the guy that you want to be on the rise. Here's a guy that's, quite a few spots above you. Let's see if you can handle, Josh Emmett. That's where I would go.
Yeah, you know what I do though is I because he's mainly all grappling, is I probably leapfrog him either to a couple people. I'd leapfrog him maybe up to Calvin Kattar and say like, hey, can you take the shots of Calvin Kattar, his style, his boxing, his kicking, and can you get him down? Which I think that fight we've kind of found out where Calvin's at right now. He hasn't been as active as of lately. Throw him out there and get him in there with someone like Bryce Mitchell. I'm not opposed to the Evolov fight either. That could be a fun fight.
That would not.
It wouldn't work for him, I don't think, but it would be interesting to see if Evolov could defend his submissions and his top pressure. And Evolov could stop his takedowns, but on the feet though,
Yep.
I mean, neither one of them are fantastic on the feet. Evolov's better.
He's
better than him.
Evolov is much technically better than Mitchell in this.
I do know this, John.
Okay, I'm just you're talking. I'm like,
no, I get it.
Oh man, dude, no, there's.
But the fight that I would really like to see Bryce Mitchell fight, and I think this is too soon for him, but I'd like to see him fight Brian Ortega.
Be an interesting fight.
Because Brian wouldn't deny going to the ground with him. But Brian was way better than him on the feet.
Yes, he is.
We've seen Brian can fucking take some shots, and he can deliver. He can knock out people too. So that would make for a fun fight.
This is what's going to happen with Bryce Mitchell is, and we talk about all the time. There's levels to this, and he's now getting involved in those levels. You take a look at his record, and Dave, pull up Bryce Mitchell's record for me, please, if you can. But you take a look at who he's fought, when he's fought him, and everything. He's got some good wins on there, and against guys that I think are good fighters. But Andre Fili, good fighter, tough dude, but is not a great wrestler as far as stopping takedowns and everything. Edson Barbosa, great fighter in the stand-up game, but does not do well stopping the takedowns or anything. And then you had guys like Charles Rosa, tough dude. Charles Rosa, he's just a game fighter. But now when you're looking at these people that Bryce Mitchell is going to be fighting, this is the next level, and when you're getting up into the Topurias and the Iges and all of these people, and now we're talking, Emmett or Evolov and stuff, there's no easy fights. No easy fights. And everything that you are good at will not work as well against those guys as it has in the past against others. It's going to be tougher to pull it off. And everything that you are not so good at exposes you to what, a difference level there is and what they can end up doing to you.
Yeah, he's got to be more well-rounded, man. He's struggling. He really is struggling. So he's going to struggle against that top tier of fighters. And the number is for most weight classes above 170, it's at ranked 5 and 6. You can't get past that if you're not completely well-rounded. It's very rare. In his weight class, I look at it, it's like you won't even get to Evolov. Evolov is, I think, better than him at wrestling, better than him on the feet.
8 or 9.
But maybe not better than him on the grappling, like jiu-jitsu wise.
I don't think he is better than him jiu-jitsu.
No, he's not. I don't think so either. Yeah. But I think he's better than him in wrestling. I think he's better than him on the feet. So that's where you're going to run into problems. I can't use my jiu-jitsu if I can't get you to the ground.
That's it.
And so when you're putting him against these other fighters, so I think he can beat Giga Chikadze. I think he can beat Calvin Kattar. I think he can beat those guys. But then after you beat those guys, guess who's next? Topuria. Then you got Brian Ortega, and then you got Max Holloway. Then you got those are guys that
Could you now think about it, okay? And this is no disrespect,
Not at all,
in any fashion to Bryce Mitchell, but he's not ready for someone like a Max Holloway.
No, target practice.
I mean, it would not be a pretty sight as far as, the stand-up. He would be diving for takedowns, which I wouldn't blame him. I would be doing the same things if you had that disparity. But, Max Holloway is a guy that, I think Max's first fight in the UFC, I don't know, was it, did he fight Dustin Poirier first?
I think it was.
He might have fought Dustin Poirier
that was his first fight. I think it was his first fight.
He was like 19, 20 years old.
They were both that age, I think.
And he got submitted. I remember he got submitted in it. But you look and you go, take a look at him. Was that his first fight in the UFC?
Oh, go scroll down more. It's on the very beginning. They were at 145 at the time. Way down.
Oh, you got to keep
his first fight in UFC. Oh,
Dustin Poirier right there. Yeah, it was.
Very first fight.
143.
Pat Schilling. Scroll back down. Leonard Garcia. Man. Justin Lawrence. I haven't heard that name forever. Dennis Bermudez. Jeez.
Justin Lawrence was supposed to be the thing.
Yes.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good guy.
Jeez.
Fought Clay Collard. Look at there. Boom.
Jeez, man.
I mean, he's fought, but you take a look and, Max has had to have that same progression as what, Bryce Mitchell has. Max came in and there was areas that he was deficient in. Now he's strong in those areas, and that's just part of the fight game. Figuring out, where can I go and what can I do to fill in the gaps where people have an advantage against me.
Yeah, look at pull up Dan Ige, please.
What's that?
So that was a great comparison for a novice like me.
Scroll all the way down. Scroll down. So has Dan fought Calvin Kattar? Yeah, he has. He lost to him.
Yeah, he has.
I was like,
that was a tough fight.
What about Giga Chikadze?
He has not fought
Giga.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just to keep Dan in that mix there somewhere. I mean, there's guys that I know that would motivate
Dan's
him.
going to be in that mix. Unfortunately for Dan, he's that guy when you look and you go, man, if you can beat Dan Ige, you're separating yourself from that pack. I don't want to say gatekeeper because he's not, man. The dude can fight. I love watching him fight. But it's always when you get into that one element where, like the Calvin Kattar fight for Dan, Calvin was just too good on the feet for him. He just took too many shots. And it's like, I don't see how Ige, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Ige ever beats Volkanovski.
No.
Okay. That's okay. No. And then you take a look and you go into I don't think Dan Ige ever beats Max Holloway. Right? Both guys from Hawaii, but I don't think he beats him. And it's just, it's because, there's just, there's great fighters, but they just can't beat certain guys.
No, I agree. I mean, he's at number 12 right now. I mean, he's already beat Edson Barboza, so he'll stay probably exactly where he's at. I don't see him dropping.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
Edson,
he will.
is he even still around? Did he retire?
Yeah. No.
I haven't seen him fight in a while. He fought, 5 months ago? Something like that. It was a while back. I mean, I'd like to see him and Giga get after it because I know that Dan could probably get a takedown or two on him, control the top position, but he's going to take some shots in the process.
He's going to take some shots trying to do it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
But there's no easy fights in that weight class, man. 35 and 45 are fucking
featherweight,
stacked
30.
Right They're stacked.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Well, everywhere. In all kinds, in every promotion. I mean, stacked.
Yeah, 35, 45s.
Crazy.
Yep. Oh, no, I agree.
We were just with, Brendan Loughnane, the 145er from the PFL. Jesus. That dude is a stud.
You know what's funny is, John, there's when I fought Eves, there's sound footage of Rogan. Josh Thompson's the biggest lightweight I've ever seen in my life. I stood next to that 45-pounder there.
I told you, I said, hey, I want you to look. And they said you were big at 155.
This dude is fucking huge, man. I'm like, what do you mean you fight at 45?
Yep.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Tough dude.
All right, but next fight.
All right, Marina. Oh, man. Man, we talked about this fight, and it went exactly like we talked. And I hate to say that, but it's, Michelle Waterson Gomez, she's a sweetheart. The karate hottie I have adored for a long time just because she's such a good person. And she went after it, and she got right away with the takedown. And I was like, that's what we're talking about. That's what you got to do against Marina. And she was doing good until Marina got back to her feet. And from that moment on, it was one-way traffic, man. It was not. I tell you, Michelle fought her ass off. She was trying. She was taking some heavy shots. The fact that she made it through that first round, I'll tell you what, just showed what kind of competitor and how much heart she has. And when Kerry Hadley was the referee in that one, and he was letting her go. And you got to let her go. And a lot of referees will, they'll. I'm just gonna say, a lot with women will stop it quicker because it's like, oh, I don't want to see you take too much damage. He let her take a lot of damage. She was busted up, and Marina was putting it on her. And finally, when she got mounted and there was nowhere for her to go, it was a good stoppage. It was a great stoppage as far as. But I do know that she said I didn't want it to get stopped, and it's like your heart goes out for her because this has got to be what. She's got to have like 5 losses in her last 6 fights. Yeah. Something like that. Mm-hmm. What is it?
5,
4,
6 and 7 fights.
6 and 7 fights.
6 and 7 fights. Angela Hill's the only. I mean, and that's tough. She had a ton of success early on, and you run into that. It's like, I give her credit, man. She went out there and fought her ass off. Just Marina was just too strong, too big, too strong, technically good, and just lit her up. Some of the knees to the body that she took, Josh, I was like, oh, damn. Yeah. That hurt.
She took some of the knees to the face. She took the body. And the elbows were just target practice. She was just holding her in place and just elbowing her. She ran into a little bit of what I've seen from guys like Kung Lee from back in the day. Certain people just don't know how to defend the tie plum. The drop the shoulder, roll it inside, whether it's the full yank away, whether it's the post on the face and twist and turn. There's different ways to get out. And
there's all kinds of ways to do it. But you got to figure out. Well, and this is the problem. This is what I saw. They have the way that works for them.
This is not a way, John.
Hold on. I'm not talking about that. They have the way. Stop. I'm not. And this goes all the way back to Rich Franklin when he fought Anderson Silva. They have the way that works for them. And it's like, oh, you type on me, this is what I do. And they stick with that one way, and they don't have another way. They're not good with another way. And you've got to have, there's all kinds of ways. There's ways of creating space. There's ways of bringing the person to you and crushing space. And, using, just angles on it, and you look and you go, you've got to have more than one way to stop a tie plum because everyone does it a little bit different, and some things will work against one while they won't work against the other, and you've got to have those multiple setups A, B, C. She didn't, and that's why she ends up doing exactly what you were saying. And I'm like,
well, there's the other way too. Is don't always have to get out of it. You just got to learn how to defend from them throwing something. Go ahead and let them throw the knee. But then, hands underneath the armpits as they throw the knee, elevate a little bit and foot sweep. Whatever. You've got, whether you guide the knee by and then step behind and
more
drop.
Than one way.
It's not even so much like trying to just get out. Just utilizing them against themselves, utilizing their movement against themselves. Shit, no answer, man. None. And Kung Lee was the worst at it. He didn't know how to defend a fucking knee to the body once you got him in a tie clinch. He had no idea what the hell was going on. And just watch his fight with Anderson Silva. Or not Anderson, Vanderlei Silva. He's fucking got his face kneed off. You know what I mean? He did. It just was one of those, he had no desire to learn. And I remember training and sparring with him, working with him, and Javier worked with him for a long time. He just he just thought he just could put his forearm there and block it like how Rich Franklin did with Anderson. That shit don't work. It doesn't work. And you know, I don't know. It just was one of those things with her. She had the size disadvantage. And Marina was so tall, was able to just kind of grab her right away and push her head down and right into the knees, hold the tie plum, and then elbow with one hand and go back to holding the tie plum, elbow with one arm. Like she made her pay in every facet of that fight. But I also look at Michelle Waterson. She made a mistake once she got the takedown. Once she got kicked out and she was on her feet, you just got to jump back in. You just got to jump back in. I'm just being honest, because Michelle is the better jiu-jitsu player. Like, take your chances on the ground. Take your chance. Like
that's your area to win this fight.
You gave her so much space. She got back to her feet, and then you were done. It was like, oh. Then you try to shoot again, didn't get it, and then she shot some half-ass shots and made it even worse. Like once you get that first takedown, you do whatever it takes to keep that person on the ground. If you know that's your way to getting the win. And there was no sense of urgency. Okay, if she gets back up, I'll go ahead and just get another one. No, because the first one came so easy. They didn't come easy after that. And I thought Carrie Hiley did a great job, but there was moments in that first round I could have been stopped, John. You know that.
Yeah. Oh no, could have.
I liked, and I agree with you that we've had several refs that we know personally. We won't mention any names. They have stopped fights a little too early because they are females. They don't want to see females get damaged and beat up. Well, this is the fight business. Okay, the entertainment business, the fight business, and they know what they signed themselves up for. And so they know what they're getting themselves into. And she goes out on her shield. You know, she's that type of person. So I'm glad that he let her fight, but I wouldn't have been mad had he stopped it. There was a couple, I think there was like once or twice in that first round where he could have stopped.
Absolutely. There was a moment where he could have stopped and it would have been justified.
There was one, I think it was about a minute left. And I was like, it was like 58 seconds, I think, left. I was like, how the fuck is he letting this thing go? And then she turned away enough to like make enough space. And I was like, oh shit. That's what's more dangerous. When they're almost finished and then they land a shot, or they're almost finished and they defend properly for a second, or something happens, like the person misses a punch and puts himself out of position and then they're able to get away. You're like, fuck, all I got to do is just get hit with one more shot and then the ref will stop. But it's like they do just enough to keep the ref from stopping it.
The worst ones is when you have someone and you have that fight and the person is just starting to dominate and they're just blasting them and they stop. And you go, what the goddamn, you hit your piss, because now you can't stop it. And then they'll start and stop. Oh man, those are the ones that drive you crazy.
Yep. All right, next fight.
Can I just say real quick before you move on?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear this insane hail right now, but between that and the thunder, if I lose power, that's what. If I go offline, it's
I'm hearing pops.
Yeah, it's hailstone the size of golf balls.
Hope your house is okay. All right, we had Brian Battle against AJ Fletcher. Brian Battle being the guy who won the Ultimate Fighter, and no one gave him a lot of freaking credit. No one gave him a lot of respect, and I tell you what, this guy is earning his respect because he keeps on putting on good performances. He's very calm in the cage. He got touched one time in this fight, and I really looked, and it was, he decided, I'm just going to take the center and let him try to come towards me, and it was working for him, and he was doing fine, and he was the better fighter in that, and Fletcher was, moving around, but Fletcher did catch him the one time, and you look and you go, you need to, move a little bit sometimes. Coming forward's a good thing, and so kind of changed it up, and in the end, as soon as he decided, it was funny because, Fletcher's big thing was to take this fight to the ground, and when you saw Battle, he ends up against the cage, he turns him, and from that point, the knees to the body that he throws are really effective. He does a good job with that. He sets it up. He opens up the area, then attacks it. And then when he got him to the ground right away with the rear naked choke. And it was like, you could tell that AJ Fletcher was done because he didn't even defend it, Josh.
Yeah.
He didn't defend it.
Yeah, he just waited to tap. His hand was here.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, wait, it's getting, oh no, not yet. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
Not yet. It's not quite tight enough yet. Can't do it yet.
And then it goes right from that to panic attack. It was like, this Brian Battle in comparison to the one that left the show. The one that left the show was fought wild, fought crazy, didn't fight smart. This was a very, very well thought out game plan.
He's getting very good.
He's understanding what works for him, and that push kick. And I know that I was listening to some of the commentary. They were like, "Oh, that's all he's using. That's all." But I heard Dom go, "Well, it's smart. That's all he's got to use. It's an extended version of the jab, and it's better. It's better for him. When you're fighting someone like AJ Fletcher, who's what 5'4", I mean, he's tiny. He muscle. It reminds me of Sean Shirk a little bit.
Dude, he reminds me of freaking. You're talking about it in the Silverback.
Dustin Wilcox.
Yeah, that's what he reminded me of.
So I was thinking like Wilcox and Shirk. He reminds me of that. Like he has that type of like body style. And so Brian Battle knew that. Okay, what's the best way for someone like that? Keep that guy there. Just fucking piece him up, push kick him, dump him off. And I thought he was doing a good job of that. He just hitting him with the push kick and keeping him away. And that's what he did. And so it worked out perfectly. I thought, he did get clipped a little bit there. But once the fight hit the ground, he made his transitions. He did a great job, man. I think we lost Dave there. It happened all that.
I think the hail has destroyed
Dave. Yeah,
has destroyed Dave.
Let's look this up because we normally have Dave pulls up all the information for us. So we'll take a look at this card here because we had it on. Dun, dun, dun. Why is it so hard to fight these?
I get it.
You got it? UFC
I will.
Apex. What was it, 79?
Yeah. It's back here.
Look at us. Look how tech savvy we are.
Dude, I'll tell you, we're impressive.
Yeah.
All right, we're good to go.
Got it? Who was the...
Oh, yeah. Charles Jourdain against Ricardo Ramos. This was, I'll tell you what, this was a great ground battle. Mm-hmm. And it was apparent, and both of us love Jourdain and the way that he fights. And he's got good stand-up. He's got good ground. And Ramos felt, he got caught the one time, and he moved to a Von Flue choke, and he had that on for a little bit. Jourdain fought it off well. And but I think that kind of gave Ramos the idea that, he'll never be able to get me. And he kept sticking his head to the side, and the one time he put it to the wrong side, he put it off to the one side, and once that arm comes across, that leg comes over the top, that guillotine was tight, and you could see right away he was like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble." And it was just a smart fight by Charles Jourdain, who, Josh, we're going to be watching Charles Jourdain for a long time.
John, what it is with him, which kind of threw me off was, if you're Ramos, why are you putting your head knowing that that's really kind of the only submission he's got good submissions, don't get me wrong. But that's like his bread and butter. He tries to hit that thing anytime you touch his legs, anytime your head is down by his chest. He's trying to put your head in the hole, and he's going deep with it, or he's trying to go arm in guillotine. I mean, he's working it from all different ways. Sure. Gotta avoid that, man. Like I'm not saying you gotta keep it on the feet, but
I think it was that first instance where Jourdain actually tried, and then he put him into the Von Flue that made him feel like, okay, I've been there. He can't get me.
Oh,
you've been there. We all do it. It's like, that guy can't catch me with that. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, hello.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it just seemed like he kept doing. And then when Jourdain kind of was able to skirt free of him a little bit, then he rushed back in with his head on the side right into the guillotine position.
That's what I said. Put it on the other side, and you went,
come on, man. What do you think?
But it was a really, first off, it was a fun fight to watch. I enjoyed the way they both competed. I enjoyed the way they went after it. And I tell you what, I'll watch Charles Jourdain fight anytime. He goes for the finish. He goes after his opponent. He's a competitor, man. So like I said, he's going to be around for a long time fighting.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. I like him. He reminds me a little bit of that guy, Davy Gallon. Yeah. Fights from Bellator. I don't know why. They both have good judo. They're both good on the feet. I think Jourdain's a little bit more explosive. He does like more flashy stuff. But they're both fun to watch. Next fight.
Well, we're into the prelims now, so let's talk about a couple of them. Because we got to talk. Is there any ones that you really want to talk about? Miles Johns against Dan Arguello. Good fight, but went to the decision. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not but Tim Means against Mr. Fiallo, who is a friend of yours. No. We talked about this, and then we knew this was one of those ones that, you know what? It could go either way. Because Fiallo's got power, but Tim Means, he's the dirty bird, man. That's why I love him. He's a dog.
This fight, it was the dirty bird that won him the fight. Is that Fiallo is comfortable with fighting guys that know how to just stand in front of him and let's go back and forth and let's see who goes down first. Well, Tim Means doesn't fight that way. You know, as you come in, he throws the knee because he's so tall and lanky and all those things. He throws the knee up the middle. When you dip your head the wrong way, boom, you got caught, gets out to your ass. Then, as the fight's going on and you want to try to fight me in a phone booth, all right, fine. I'm going to knee and elbow you. I'm going to clinch your head. I'm going to elbow your face. I'm going to throw knees up the gut. And you're going to get tired because I'm hitting you with the knees. I mean, he had an answer for everything that Fiallo was doing. In the second round, he got in a lot of trouble. Tim Means did. But then Fiallo didn't chase after. I'm not saying he should have chased after it, but he should have. There was moments where he could have got him out of there, and he didn't get him out of there. He took a step back, almost to get his own breath. You got to be careful with someone like Tim Means also. You know the rules. And the rules are you don't want to be stuck, gassed out after trying to finish him, and just knowing that he is the dirty bird. He's a filthy, dirty fucking animal bird. He's the filthy
animal.
And so he just, he's going to take everything you got. He's going to, still be there, maybe still half-witted or whatever it is, but then he's going to still be there. And he's going to just get in your face and just put pressure and the knees and the elbows and all those. And he was looking on point, too, with his stand-up. And if you're...
Yeah, he looked good, sharp.
If you're somebody like Fiallo, and I know him very well, it's a confidence thing. Why is this guy? This guy's he's not the best looking guy. He's not, he doesn't have the best looking style of fighting. And just the way he looks physically, you're like, I shouldn't be losing to this guy. But he can fight. The dirty bird can fight.
And he's been doing it for a long time, man. So
against the best guys. Against a lot of the best guys he's fought. And so all that experience and everything, it really He basically took Fiallo into the dark, into the deep waters, and he let him come up for air for a couple times. He's like, okay, when I'm ready, and he got him out of there. I was very impressed with Tim Means, man. Fought a good fight. Fiallo just he's got great kicks. He's got good wrestling. You saw it when he did the single leg dump. I'm like, why aren't you just we've been telling him this for him and Abu Bakr. Habib's cousin.
Yeah.
Him and Abu Bakr used to have some of the fucking biggest wars. I don't know what it was with the two of them. It didn't matter. They'd both come out all bloody afterwards. They just stood and traded. They neither one of them knew how to fight smart when it was he got mad at each other. You hit me hard? Fuck you. I'm gonna hit you hard. They came out of there sometimes almost wanting to throw the gloves off just to throw more punches.
Just throw
bare hands. I was like, man, they went at it. It was fun for us to watch, but we had to stop them a couple times from sparring because they would just wanted to fucking kill each other. Yeah, it was crazy. But he just doesn't fight smart. And there's nothing you can do to change him. To say, hey, you've got explosive kicks, you've got great double legs, you got good wrestling. He's not the best on the ground jiu-jitsu wise, but I think he knows enough to keep himself out of some submissions. Yeah, when you know who your competition is.
First off, it's not. You don't have to worry about the submissions. What you have to worry about if you're not that good on the ground is base and balance. If you're in the top position, striking changes everything. Yeah. The ability to punch and elbow someone in the head and body absolutely takes away a ton of what they can do.
Absolutely. You
just have to know, and it's a skill set like anything else. You have to practice it to be good at it.
Crazy. Did we get Dave back?
Yes, sir.
There he is.
Well, hello there, Mister.
Yeah.
We're gonna call you the Hail Man.
We have.
Do you guys want to see a picture of the hail that just?
Yeah, let's see it. Let me
this
see this bad boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it over at the Mac right now.
Okay, let me see.
freaking nuts.
You don't park your car. I'm gonna start parking my car in the garage, I think.
Well, I have one car in the
It'll dent the
driveway.
hell out.
Oh, you only have one car right now.
I only have one in the garage. Yeah, 'cause I have a.
Well, you park the other one underneath the tree.
Yeah,
So
I think
it
the
doesn't
tree
get
should be
directly
enough.
hit. I don't have a big enough tree on my
Hopefully.
driveway, so.
This came out of nowhere. Literally, it came out of nowhere. It was like 95 and sunny an hour ago.
Oh yeah.
Check out this
Let me
hill.
see. Oh shit.
Crazy, right?
Hey, are those your hands, Dave?
No, it's my neighbor's hand.
Oh, I was like, is it a guy or a girl?
Girl.
I was like, Dave, you got some real feminine hands. Very nice.
Yeah, it was
Dave,
crazy.
Dave,
Look at that.
Dave, your
I was
hands
like,
are
Yeah,
a
so
little,
I'll go out and assess the damage in the morning.
Damn.
yeah, that's some good old hail right there.
Yeah, we're not getting hail warnings right now. We're getting tornado warnings. They're saying, but it's not by us. It's a little bit further up north, about 30 minutes, in Denton, which is
Denton, yeah.
not far from us, about 30 minutes, I think. So
Well,
no, we've been good so far. Fuck, I got off the plane today though, man. John, it was fucking 95 degrees. It was freezing on the flight, and it was cold in Ireland. And I get off the plane here, and I'm like, holy shit, it's hot. I was
Oh, I'm
sweating.
cooking.
I had a sweater. I had a thermal on and stuff. I'm like, man, I took that thing off right away. Anytime you fly international, you gotta take long sleeves. Ugh,
Always.
ruthless. All right, next one.
We got to talk about the Cody Brundage versus Jacob McCoon fight. What do you think should have been done? You're the fighter. Was he getting hit to the back of the head?
Well, he did get hit to the back of the head. Now, like,
How many times?
I mean, I don't know. I would probably only count 2, maybe
More than that.
Nah. I mean, they kind of like wrap. I mean, the one that
No,
from
he had ones that landed to the side, and he had a couple that were straight down the. When a guy's head's there and not moving, and then you hit it, now it's on you. That's when as the referee, you look first time, and you heard Mark Smith say, "Watch the
when
back
I hit
of
the
head."
back of your head, though, your dumb ass decided to stay there. You should have moved. No, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But what should have been done? Mark Smith should have stopped the fight before he had this injury, gotten them up, taken Jacob out of that dominant position, put them both on their feet, and said, "I'm not taking a point from you, but you're going to lose the position because you're not targeting where you need to hit. You hit the back of his head. Again, I'm going to take you out of the position and take a point."
All right. Well, let me go the other way.
Go ahead.
Why would you not take a point though? Like, wait, you just said he hit him more than once. Now, if you hit me twice, that means you knew you hit me once the first time, and you hit me again.
Nothing says I have to take a point.
John, hitting somebody in the back of the head. We've seen fighters die in boxing from being hit to the back of the head.
Are there different levels of being hit to the back of the
You got
head?
hit with the
Josh?
forearm.
Excuse me, the last one, and they end up disqualifying him.
Yeah,
that one, yes. But are there different levels? Yes. If you hit someone and it hurts them right away, well, then you're not going to just take them out of the position. But he did hit him before that, and it didn't really do damage to Cody. And that's when you say, "Stop, get up," and you warn him all that stuff. You're going to lose your position, and I'm affecting the fight in a big way towards him because I'm taking him out of a position where he could end up winning the fight, right? But I'm not taking points at that point because I don't want to take points out of it. So I'm having that a much bigger effect on the fight. But it is the way that Mark, as the referee, could have done something different than just get to the point where all of a sudden now he's going to give a disqualification.
I have a hard time. Like, look, if you did something illegal, if you did it once,
How many times did you do something illegal?
very rarely, John.
Oh, you lying
I'll be
son of a bitch.
honest.
I could start bringing up things. Oh, you were a cheat.
I
son
was
of a
not
bitch.
a cheater.
Grabbing inside of gloves.
My own gloves.
All kinds of
I'm
stuff.
allowed to grab inside my own gloves.
I know, because you asked
Yeah.
me.
I know what I'm doing. I always ask.
I know what I'm doing.
When you were back there and other refs are back there, I asked. And I also have techniques that now some fighters have been using, like Benson took from me. I grabbed the fat part of the hand, but it looks like I'm grabbing the glove, but I'm not. I'm just grabbing the fat part of the hand, and I use the wrist control that way. And after I fought Benson, I saw that he started using that on some of his opponents.
It works.
And some of the other guys that I use it against too, I see that they use it because it works. It's a lot of control. But no,
well, the best part about it is when you have this, you don't have to use that thumb.
No, you don't. It's like starting an engine, like you're trying to or a motorcycle, like you're just trying to turn it, control the wrist. Yeah, it works real well. No, it just the fence grab.
Do you agree with the disqualification then?
I would have just taken the point. See you.
Oh, you would have taken a point. So you would have taken a point, and then we'd have a no contest.
Yeah.
So you taking the point means nothing.
Whatever. A no contest. It's a no contest.
I love it. At one point, it's, oh my God, you got to take the point because, this and that. And now you're going to take a point knowing that it's going to have no effect.
Why would it be a no contest? Because he didn't want to continue?
Because he says he can't continue. The doctor says, well, you know what?
I wouldn't assess the point then if he could. You wouldn't assess the point. Okay. You would see if he can continue. If he can't continue, then it'd just be a no contest. I wouldn't have to worry about assessing the point. So
you would not have disqualified.
No. For me though, I agree with you. As if you hit him once in the back of the head, the second time you hit him again, I stop the action. I stand you up, but I take the point because. After you hit him one time and I say, watch the back of the head and you hit him again, I have no choice. I gave you the warning.
Yes, you do have a choice. I just gave you your choice.
What? No,
don't you understand? Look at everything is levels.
Fine, I chose to take the point.
So hold on, I want you to think about that. You're right, it is, but you're going that next level because you have the opportunity to just warn, don't hit the back of the head, right? You have the opportunity to stop the action and pull him out of the position. You have the opportunity to take a point. That's also taking him out of the position. Okay? So you're just jumping to the most severe thing you can do other than disqualify him at that moment.
Yeah. And if you grab the fence, I'm going to do the same shit. I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of these rule breakers.
You're really jeopardizing that person's ability to continue fighting. Like if I kick you when you're down, if I knee you while you're down, if I do these things, I hit you in the back of the head, it's having an effect because those fighters at those moments, they believe they're in a safe position when they're not because you're illegally causing damage to them. That's going to hinder the fight whatsoever. No matter what you think.
It does. It definitely does hinder the fight.
Yeah.
And it can affect the fighter later on. But this is where you got to figure out what can you do so you can make the fight go on, do something that affects them, and not be that guy that's
I think
altering
in the sport of MMA, we've got to stop pretending like the person who got damaged is the bad guy. Because we don't favor them enough. We got to start taking those points. And then you'll start seeing when people start losing their purses and half their purse, more of their purse, or whatever it is, because they're getting DQ'd or because, they're getting points taken away and there was a fight they could have won, but they cheated. Then they'll stop doing it. It's a really shitty situation, but it's not as if we don't know the fucking rules. Don't grab the fence. It's like we don't know the rules. Don't hit the back. Don't hit the back of the head.
How did you get all the way to now grabbing the fence?
No, I'm saying, but
we had nothing to do with
John,
grabbing the fence.
One of the number one rules that started in this sport was don't hit the back of the head. Like that. Remember, it used to be the mohawk, and then they got rid of the mohawk thing, and they went down to just the spine, down the spine, right? That's pretty much it. And it goes from the ear. As long as my glove makes contact with your ear. Am I correct?
Yeah, it doesn't go from, it's not like a headphone. No. It's not like this. Yeah. Okay. I can actually hit behind here. It's the back of your head medically, and it's legal.
And it wasn't, and with this, he hit him directly with the forearm right to the back of the head. And he dropped all of his weight on it.
I agree.
And you yourself said he did way more than just one. I only saw the two. When they showed the replay, it was just the two, I think.
Well, you're just watching replays because you watched the fight. He hit him quite a few.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was the way that the camera angle was. You could see him hitting, but I didn't see that it hit clean in terms of around the back of the head. But in the replay, they showed just the two. Bottom line is, if you hit him,
on him.
if you hit him once in the back of the
him.
head, if I'm the ref, if you hit him in the back of the head, watch the back of the head. Don't hit him again. Boom, he hits him again. Stand him up. Take the point. I gave you your warning. That means shy away from it. It's no different than like you throw the inside leg kick and it grazes the cup and the guy looks and like points at his cup and you go, hey, watch the cup. And then one kick later, you fucking kick him right in the nuts. Now, that can be a little bit different because the guy can dip down into it and all of those things.
There's all kinds of movements.
This guy was face down.
I didn't say he was.
So this is like a very vulnerable position. That's one. Two is, I mean, he did it multiple times, but then this was a forearm all the way across, and I'm on top, and I'm putting my weight down on you. After I gave you the warning, I'm taking the point and standing you up.
Yeah, but you doesn't matter. The fight's over.
Because Mark Smith took too long to take to stand him up and take the point. It's no different than like when I said this. I complained about this when Herb Dean when I fought Tony. Not like it would have made a difference in the fight. The bottom line is he grabbed the fence 5 or 6 times in like one sweep transition. How many times you want to give this guy a warning? You know, and I had the same problem with Herb Dean when I fought Clay Guida. Clay was sticking his fingers in my cut and pulling my cut open. And Herb warned him at least 6 or 7 times. Never took a point. I'm like, well, how many times? Like he was literally putting his fingers in and pulling my cut open, putting his fingers in, pulling my cut open. And I was like, and he just kept, stop putting your fingers in the cut. Stop pulling on the cut. And I was just like, never once took a point. In all the fights that I've had with Herb, and I like Herb as a ref, I think he does a fantastic job. Just he sucks when he refs me. Just, I swear. But he warned with Tony Ferguson. He slapped his hand off the cage, but he had already warned him 2 or 3 times. Yeah, you know, you got to assess the point. Like I said, it's not like it would have made a difference in the fight, but still, it's annoying. As a fighter that's down there, you're already kind of depleted. You're like this. You feel like, man, even the fucking ref hates me. It's a shitty situation to be in, and everything seems like it's going the opposite way. I think that there just needs to be. We got to stop pretending or treating the ones that are being illegal, you know, having this illegal activity against them, like we tend to bag on them. Oh, he could have kept fighting. Oh, they could have done this. Or, you know, all these things. When it's not, they're the ones following the rules. And we're not assessing the penalties to these people that are cheating. We're allowing these people to keep cheating until they get warned multiple times. Why would I stop? Bob Cook and I talked about this a lot at AKA. We're like, no, just fucking keep doing it until the ref tells you I'm going to take a point. And then you stop. Push the boundaries. Do it.
Well, some guys do.
A lot of guys do. You know? All right. Any other fights on here you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
I did one.
That's going to wrap up our UFC talk. Man, we talked a long time on that. Jeez.
We did.
All right, go to onlyfans.com, onlyfans.com/Wayne, and subscribe to us over there. We want to thank you guys for continuing to support us on that platform. We got about 500 subscribers over there. It is free, you guys. We're not charging anything. I'm going to post up a bunch of pictures from us from Ireland. I'm going to drop all those probably by tomorrow, so go ahead and check it out on over there. Like I said, it's free. Check out some of the video footage that I got. We got some good stuff. Got some good pictures. Had a nice dinner. Had some, some birthday stuff going on for me, so I'm going to post all those up as well. And we had a good time, man. So if you want to take a look at our Irish experience and the fans and the crowd and the arena and the songs and all that, I'm going to drop all that content onto our platform over there at onlyfans.com/Wayne and subscribe to us over there. Thanks. Let's go ahead and get into Bellator. Bellator 299. We are 1 away from 300. 1 away. Next one.
No. We are on 400.
Oh, yes.
This is show 400.
We made it.
We made it.
We made it.
Very important. This is just epic.
I mean, like 400. 400?
Amazing.
I thought you'd be done with me after 200.
I can't believe I've talked to you this much.
I know. That's so nice. Gosh. I mean, I just spent a bunch of time with you, like what, 4 days? 4 days over in another country.
Oof. I know.
And now here we are dropping a 2-hour show.
Got to get away from
it. Yes. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk. Let's go Johnny Eblen versus Fabian Edwards.
We had the champion in Johnny Eblen taking on Leon Edwards' younger brother, Fabian, who is just the bigger brother at 185 pounds. But Fabian Edwards, just like Leon, very fast, very athletic, a good striker going up against Eblen. We kind of looked at this as Eblen using pressure and stuff, but Fabian Edwards started this fight off saying, I'm going to control the center of the cage. He walked right after him, went out there, tried to keep it at the length that he, was comfortable with and could expose Eblen with that 79.5-inch reach that Fabian Edwards has. It was a close first round. I thought overall Fabian didn't throw enough volume. He waited. Eblen was at least throwing some, landing a little. By the end of the round, probably Eblen landed maybe 2 more shots, overall, but he threw more. It was a feeling out. Both guys had talked a lot. There was some heat going on between them, things like that. But I had the first round going to Eblen. I know that the judges were kind of all over the place with it. One had Eblen. One had Eblen in the first round, and 2 had Fabian Edwards, I believe. So
I think they were on the same page. I had a 1-1 going in the third, and I think I had Fabian win in the first. Okay. And Johnny win in the second.
Yeah, no doubt he won the second. Yeah, if it doesn't end up being an actual decision, they don't put it on there.
Yeah.
Coming into the second, I thought Johnny Eblen was starting to do what he was supposed to do. He put more pressure on him. Fabian, by the end of it, looked to me like he was getting a little tired. Now Johnny was pushing too. Eblen was he was working hard, but by the end of that round, I was looking and saying, Eblen is starting to take over. Edwards is having more problems in controlling exactly where the engagements were happening, where his positioning in the cage was at. It was not as good. He wasn't able to control it as much, and he was working harder. So he got put down on his butt from a shot, came right back up. But overall, that was Johnny Eblen's round. And then he did land in that second round. Fabian Edwards landed not a hard elbow, a slicing elbow, one that just grazed that, eyebrow area, but it opened Johnny up with a big cut. And I'm not too sure Johnny Eblen understood how bad the cut was when he walked back to his corner.
Oh, no, he didn't understand at all. Oh, man. Yeah, in the first round, what I saw was 2 fighters that had let all the trash talking kind of get to them. And Fabian taking the center and Johnny going, all right, well, he's taking the center. I don't want to take anything and get caught real quick. Let me get the feeling out process. Let me see how fast he is. Let me see how hard he hits. Let me see how hard his kicks are. And then towards the end of the first round, he tried to shoot a double, didn't get it. Kind of, try to get it going, just wasn't able to get it. What you have to remember is that Leon Edwards fighting Kamaru Usman has developed this new way. It's definitely not a new way. But just learning how to control 2 hands on one. The wrist control 2 on 1. Plus, learning the position of how you put your back against the fence or how you take the wrist away from you, and then you're able to kind of spin inside their guard and then maybe make space or get into double unders. Utilize those positions with that wrist control. And Fabian did a great job in that first round and in the second round of making sure that he didn't settle on bottom. So when his hips hit the ground, he was able to pop back up. And he kept that wrist control. He got all the way back to his feet. And then he made Johnny pay a little bit with some of the, the knees in there. And then that elbow on the break. And that was one of my key points when I was doing my highlight package for Bellator right before they walked out, was that Fabian could never settle down on his hips. If he got taken down, he had to make sure he popped right back up. That was one. 2 was anytime that he was able to get back up to his feet and they were in the clinch, he had to make him pay for not getting the takedown. And that's exactly what he did. Because the elbow was off the break. He caught him on the break, and Johnny backed out with his hands down and just got clipped right there on the brow. And that he didn't realize how bad it was. They made the break, and then you could hear Dustin Poirier after I was talking to him, and also there's a video out of it too. And he's like, yeah, keep your movement. You're doing good. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not bad. He comes over to the corner. He's like, oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. And
that's bad.
That's bad. And it's so funny because Johnny didn't know how bad it was until he got back to the locker room.
Yeah.
And he didn't really look at it. And it was just hilarious because he looked at himself. They have video of him looking at himself in the mirror. He's like, holy shit. And there was another guy. Remember, there was a couple guys. There was Marvin Eastman, who had the big, that was filleted open. That was more on the forehead, though. It was like there across the forehead.
Straight from the front of the eye, straight up.
Yep. So that Marvin Eastman's was probably one of the worst I've ever seen. Then, remember who was the guy that just recently, his name was RoboCop, something Rodriguez.
Oh, Greg Rodriguez.
Gregory Rodriguez.
That was a good one, straight across, eyebrow to eyebrow.
Eyebrow to eyebrow. And remember, you could see the little vein that was like it looked like a little rope that you could see.
Yeah.
That had
the same thing with Johnny.
Same thing with Johnny. So when they filleted open Johnny's, when you could see it, they were actually pulling it open, so you could see when they cleaned it all out. You could see the vein come across the eye like that. Nasty. But Johnny's, though, it went from his eyebrow all the way into the eye. It went from the eyebrow, but it went all the way, and a little portion of it went across the bridge of his nose. So his cut actually goes almost towards the other side of the nose. It's like right on that verge of starting to maybe break the threshold to go towards the other eye, on the other side of the nose and on towards the other eye. Just nasty. So I want to see.
It was a good
interested
one.
to see what he looks like once he's all stitched up and stuff.
You're not going to even be able to see it.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's amazing. Okay, it's amazing when you think about it, because you named off Gregory Rodriguez, Marvin Eastman. You can go with Kane Musa, who had a huge cut. I believe fighting David Gaillon is the one who did it to him.
That was in Phoenix.
But whatever, I mean, you take a look at all of those cuts. The big ones, for whatever reasons, because they suture the inside also, man, they just do a great job, and you can hardly see them.
You can hardly see them, but they end up leaving more of the scar tissue because they suture on the inside.
Oh, yeah, it will leave scar tissue. There's no doubt about it. But Johnny's, you might see based upon its, the hair of his eyebrow might be affected. You might see that line, but
we're going to have to change his nickname to Johnny Stitches.
Came out in that third round, though, a man possessed, and went after him, and he got the win. The shot that put him down, it was a good shot. Puts him down. You see Edwards trying to defend, but it was the elbow, a left elbow right to the temple. And you see that it freezes Fabian. He gets hit by that elbow, it freezes him. And he gets hit by a shot. He's still kind of there, and then hits by his second elbow, and he was out.
So what I saw, though, was Johnny feeling a little bit of the nerves in the first round. The trash talk, the chirp, all that. Second round started loosening up.
That was the big part.
Started loosening up a little bit.
He wanted to hurt somebody.
Yeah. But that being said, though, John, he fought a little bit more tense, a little bit more tight. He's normally a lot more relaxed out there. And I felt like he got a little bit of an adrenaline dump. And you were looking at Fabian. I wasn't close enough. You were sitting right at their cage side. And I was probably about 15, 20 feet back when I was watching from the desk. But my thoughts were, I thought Fabian looked fresh. I thought he looked good. He was calm, relaxed. But I do agree that maybe that high intense wrestling, though, in that second round when there was a lot of big scramble right before the round ended, that kind of maybe sent him back to the corner because you don't realize how tired you are until you sit down. You're like, oh man, I'm exhausted, because he came out a little flat in the in the third. But in the first and the second with Johnny, he just looked a little slower than normal. He looked a little like flat-footed. He didn't look have as much. Everything he was throwing was just missing with Fabian, just by enough. That's a great job by Fabian because he was good at judging the distance. So Johnny throw the kick and it was like just miss. Johnny throw the punches, it was just outside of the range. He did a great job, Fabian did, of that. But what I noticed is between rounds 1 and 2, Johnny looked like he was breathing heavy. He was hunched over a little bit, kind of in the corner, getting his breath. They were talking to him. He looked a little like, I don't want to say depleted. He just didn't look as what's the word, Bry? Is it Bry? Spry. There you go. He didn't look as spry as he normally does in the corners, talking to his corners, having a good time, just relaxed. And I got concerned because I go, he's having that adrenaline dump right now. And it's happened to not just me. I've seen some of my teammates in cornering them. It's happened to them also.
Sure.
But look how he looked between rounds 2 and 3. He's standing up. He's bouncing up and down. He's giving a little bit of a pace back and forth for a second. It was almost the second wind, almost like the lactic acid got taken out of his muscles. He felt a little bit more relaxed. And I've had that experience as well. You're like, okay, between rounds, you're like, fuck, you walk back, like, man. And as you get there and you get your water, you get your mouthpiece taken out, that something happens to your body. You jump up, you're like, couple big deep breaths, and you feel good. And he came out in that third round like somebody just looked like he got a full-blown second win and ready to fight. Okay, I broke a sweat. I'm ready to go. Okay, I got a little grimy in that second round with the wrestling, got cut. I see the blood. All right, let's get this shit over. Let's go. And that was sometimes getting hit with a big shot or getting cut wakes you the hell up. Like, oh, I better get my shit together. I'm trying to fight a fight that I don't fight this way. And Johnny doesn't normally fight the way he fought Fabian Edwards. He doesn't normally stay on the outside. He normally gets right in your grill, pushes the pace, and just tries to just bulldoze over you. And he did that to Tokov. He did it to Gegard. Something about Fabian was making him fight a little bit different. And when he stopped fighting different is when he took over the fight.
Yep. When he went back to his old ways. You're right.
Yep. All right, next fight.
Big win. Aaron Pico took on Pedro Carvalho. You know, we looked at this and it was, I was just being honest when I thought I didn't see a lot of roots for victory for Pedro in this fight. He's facing a superior athlete, a guy that's just faster, stronger, I think, just better technician when it comes to wrestling and striking. Maybe not the jiu-jitsu game, but Aaron Pico went out there and he performs. And it's the one thing, if you're going to talk about a fighter, name me the Aaron Pico fight that he didn't go out there and really perform. He performs. Mm-hmm. He goes out and he goes after his opponent. He throws big, heavy shots. He's freaking violent with his wrestling. He's getting big double leg takedowns. You know, there's amplitude to his takedowns. He just is an impressive fighter.
Yeah, I agree. He does everything very well. He's getting better on the ground. I saw he utilized some of his kicks this fight. A couple little kicks there. I mean, he's just becoming more of a well-rounded fighter, and I think a lot of it is he's at that age. You know, it was his birthday.
Confidence.
Yeah, the confidence is key. But it was his birthday. He's maturing as a young man. He's got a baby.
Yep.
He's got a son. You know, he understands what's important to him. He's always understood what's important to him in terms of his wrestling. You know, his drilling. He's on a routine. He knows those things, but you'd be surprised how fast having kids makes, you know, how fast it matures you. And so I think he's in that stage right now where he understands what the focus is, and the focus is to try to continue to be the world champ. I agree with you that Pedro Carvalho he's just not the superior athlete. So he would have had to have made it a very grimy, dirty fight for him to get the win. He would have had to try to catch Aaron Pico with a punch from a weird angle, or out of a scramble, or out of a break, or out of a scramble or a break, or, you know, and he had to have set it up, inside leg kick, come back with the right hand with a knee up to the chin, something along those, something just different, maybe a back elbow or an up elbow or whatever it is. You would have had to have hit Aaron Pico with something different to get that win. And what I've noticed from Aaron, though, is that I think he's finally understanding how good he changed his boxing together with his wrestling, but then on top of it, on how effective his ground and pound is. He's good. Like his ground and pound, he's fine. He's finding his stride with his ground and pound.
Is nasty. Yep.
Those little inside elbows were nice, and then when he finally landed a clean one, he made posture up and then threw the heavier one over the top. Just nicely done. Nicely done. His boxing's on point. I want to see him utilize, you know, kicks a little bit more, because that'll help set up his hands a little bit more. But I mean, right now I'm splitting hairs, man. It's not much I can say. He's getting so much better every time we see him, every single time. So I'd like to see him run it back with Jeremy Kennedy before a title shot. But
I'll take either one. I mean, either Jeremy Kennedy or Adam Borch.
Yeah, either one. I would agree. Either one. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see that. Yeah. All right, next fight.
Nope. Sarah Collins against Sinead Kavanaugh. Just horrible. Just not going to talk about it. Just not a good fight. Sarah Collins decided to be a stand-up fighter against a stand-up fighter, but she did get the win. She deserved it, I thought. Sinead just did not throw, and it was just a bad fight in the middle of a good card. So I'm just going to put it that way. Mads Burnell. You want to say something about it? Go ahead.
Nope. Mads Burnell.
Okay. Mads Burnell took on Daniel Weichel, and that was a hell of a fight. Mads Burnell looked fantastic in that thing. He performed just beautifully. Weichel trying to go to the ground at times. You see, he figured out right away. He got a takedown on Mads. Mads reversed the position beautifully. You saw the, DPAF got the elevator sweep, just moved him right over, and dominated everywhere. When you looked at positioning wise, Weichel couldn't get him off. In the stand up, Weichel, got to the point, I'm going to give it up for Daniel Weichel. He has been a phenomenal professional fighter for 21 years. And when we say fought the who's who, this is a guy that fought he's a 145-pound fighter. He fought 170-pound guys like Paul Daly. Okay? I mean, the dude has fought some incredible fighters throughout his career. But at 145 pounds, he's figuring out that, you know what? The speed is not quite the same, because Mads is not a real fast featherweight, and he was still faster than Daniel Weichel in this fight.
Yeah.
Mads was able to just walk through the punches that Weichel threw. They weren't able to keep Mads Burnell off. Mads was able to just dictate everything that he wanted to in the fight, to the point where Weichel was, this is where when you're doing spinning attacks without a setup, it's telling you he's throwing everything he has at him, because he can't figure out what to do to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, what I saw was someone who decided to call it a career at the right moment. I can sit and talk with him. He's great for conversation. He speaks really well. He speaks multiple languages. He takes care of his body, like from top to bottom. He's always in shape. His flexibility, his techniques, all these things. You can tell that he works with his nutritionist on a daily basis. Like, he is someone that is he's just a professional. He's a true professional through and through. The way he talks to the media, the way he carries himself, the way he is with fans, all of those things. But dealing with fighters that are younger and they're faster, and guys like Mads Burnell, they understand it. These fighters at this age, at 38 years old, if you get in their face and you push on them, and you can avoid taking big shots from someone like Daniel Weichel, there's a good chance that they're going to start to get tired in that second, third round. At 38 years old, doesn't matter how good of shape you're in, it's just hard to keep a fight pace. It's hard to keep them off of you. It's hard to fight at a real fight pace of a young fighter like a Mads Burnell. Just comes in, walks forward, slips, makes you miss a little bit, and just touches you a little bit like that.
And his touch, he's very, very Nick Diaz, like he doesn't throw real hard all the time.
No. And then when he does decide, it's because he knows he'll hit you with a good shot. Yeah. So, good game plan by Mads Burnell. Daniel Weichel, congratulations on an amazing career. And I got to tip my hat to you, man, because that's one of those things. It's a hard decision to make, and you did it. You did it at the right time. So good for him. Good luck in your next chapter, my friend. Next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Levon Chokali against Paho Masi, man. We were looking forward to this fight. We thought it was going to be a very good fight. Homasi, very explosive and everything. Chokali threw a front kick that just absolutely froze Homasi. He goes falling down, and he got hit with one shot. That one shot was one shot too many. It made Homasi actually seize. You could see he was posturing in the cage, and posturing means that you see his hands starting to do things, his toes curling, and I hated seeing it, because I love the guy as a fighter. He's a good guy, and but it was a great win for Levon Chokali. That's the third ATT guy in a row that he has gotten a win against. He is becoming the ATT hunter, if you want to say. I don't want to say killer, but he's hunting him down, and he's getting his wins, and he's looking better and better, obviously, with every win. That one didn't last long. But that's a KO of the year candidate right there.
Yeah, what was weird about it didn't look like it hit his chin. It looked like it actually hit him straight upward into his nose, almost like shoving his
drove
nose.
Him down just like that. Yeah, no, it didn't knock him back. It shoved his neck back. And every time I've seen someone get hit where they get hit either on the chin and it actually drives their head down and back, they go out.
It was very strange because, I mean, he started gushing blood right from the get. As soon as he hit, boom, it started coming out blood. And like I said, it looked like it hit like someone took a palm upward up into his nose. Like he took the ball of his foot, hit him right up into the nose and straight back. And like his head didn't go back, but his body, his face, like you said, his face and neck kind of went straight back. It was really weird. And then he followed up. And then I think that follow-up, though, he ended up breaking his orbital. So he's got to stay. He's actually going to have to stay over in Ireland for the next 2 weeks. So he can't fly until they can do the surgery on him. But but yeah, he's that sucks. I mean, because Sabah, he came out. I think he after talking with him this week, he understood what was at stake. He understood, like, hey, I've got to use all my tools, wrestle a little bit, use the boxing, use the kickboxing. And
never got a chance.
Yeah, he just didn't have time. Like the fight didn't even get a chance to develop. I mean, he had landed a couple good shots on Chokely early, but just threaded the needle right through the middle, snapped the nose, jumped on top, followed up. But it wasn't just the knockout itself. It was the 15 minutes after that everyone, like a lot of people in the arena were in shock. Because they could see in posture. I mean, we had people that were working cage side, and they actually had to go outside to get like a fresh breath of fresh air, because they hadn't seen somebody go through that. I mean, he was out. I mean, he was out for a good probably 2 minutes. Then
he was out for a good.
And then
2
when
minutes.
he rolled over, he couldn't even. He still couldn't roll over. It was.
And well, part of it is and you brought it up, the broken orbital. Many times that'll give you vertigo. Because as the orbital breaks, the muscle actually catches it and starts to pull your eye, and you get vertigo. Randy Couture, when Rico Rodriguez beat him with elbows, broke his orbital, that same little muscle, he had vertigo and problems, with his balance and everything. Yeah. So that's what happened with Sabah. But big win for Chokely, and just get better, Sabah. Enjoy your vacation, I guess, if you can, in Ireland there for a little bit, man. But we had Peter Queally against Daniele Michelli. Did not go. 26 seconds total. There was a kick as Peter Queally's got bad luck. He would kick when he was down, and it sliced the cornea of his eye. And that was the end of the fight. It was illegal at the time because he was a down fighter, they said. I still have not been able to see that tape the way I would like to be able to see exactly his body positioning.
He was down.
I know he was on the ways up.
He was down.
Oh, no, he was down. But I kept on trying to tell people, no, look, it's not his hands, because they were talking about his hands.
He was still almost on his butt.
I said he was on his leg, actually folded over, starting to come up off of his shin. And I said, but I want to see it again, in a way that I can really look at it. But he was down. They gave it as a no contest because I don't think he meant to. See, there you go again. This was Mr.
He threw the kick. The guy was down. What the fuck?
Yeah,
is illegal. DQ.
So you'd have DQ'd him.
I would have.
So we know where Josh Thomson is going to be as he takes over Texas.
Yes.
You
break the rules, you lose the fight. I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, John, one of the fucking first rules, you cannot kick the down opponent to the fucking head. Like, I don't care. Like, he kicked him in the.
He didn't kick him into the head.
The eye, sorry. That's part of the head, though, right? Jeez. John,
you're
just do whatever you can to fucking argue with me tonight. I'm telling you, man.
I just want to have fun.
Look.
I'm being Dave.
Yeah, the fans got robbed. The fans got robbed of a potential good fight. And, and I get sometimes the emotion get the better of you, but he was down.
Yeah, he was down.
Yeah.
He was.
So.
J.J. Wilson against Mansour Barnaoui. That was a phenomenal fight. What a performance by a young man in J.J. Wilson, because he lost that first round. There was not a doubt about it. He lost the first round. He came back and beat a very good fighter for 2 rounds and was trying to put him away and almost had him with that arm bar. That was a beautiful arm bar. It was nasty. It was hyperextending. Barnaoui, he's a savage. He won't quit. It was very not quite as bad as Tony Ferguson's versus Charles Oliveira, but it was the same thing. And he put up with it, got to the decision, but he lost the decision to JJ, and that's a big win. And that one right there shows a lot of JJ moving over to ATT, being able to have better training partners and things like that, you can see it's making a difference for him, and he performed really well. Congratulations on, I told him, the best performance of your career, and it was.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. He looked like he put a little bit of muscle on too.
A little bit.
So he's looking a little thicker in the shoulders.
Filling into that 150. Because he was trying to, he was at the 145, and he wanted to be there, and he missed weight multiple times.
So he never really was at 145. Got it.
No, he never was. He was a 155-pound fighter the whole time.
So, and I expected, what I expected more of, though, was Monsieur Bonnaoui with Brent Primus. He threw a lot more elbows. But in this fight, when he got into the clinch, he wasn't throwing elbows. He was trying to throw the knees. He did both with Brent Primus, but the elbows is what really had the most effect in that fight with Brent Primus. I expected him to do that more because when he got to the clinch in that first round, the elbows were there against JJ. He was trying to kind of fight for the position with the head position too, the hands and the head control. And Bonnaoui was just controlling the better position. He just didn't let the elbows go. So I'm going to go back and watch that fight. But it was an extremely good fight on the ground. Both of them had some great escapes, some great submission attacks, some great reversals. I mean, the one that Bonnaoui had against the fence where he was mounted, and then he used the fence to kick off and then turn him right back into guard. And I was like,
he wall walked the fence.
But it was just the timing of it all was perfect. I was standing right there. I was like, holy shit, that was nice. But it was definitely, I think, one of my more favorite fights of the night, based on, on just the scrambles, the two ferrets getting after it, man. Two ferrets. Yep. All right, next fight.
We had Gregory Babin against Charlie Ward. Babin being a guy that, a lot of people don't know who he is. I'm telling you, the dude is a submission. He is a submission machine. He goes after people. He's older. He's 39. And a lot of people have not. I started watching tape on him, and I was like, God damn, he's good on the ground. I mean, and he's relentless in chaining his attacks together. He did that to Charlie Ward. Charlie ended up finally getting caught by the guillotine choke after Babin had put him down with as they stood there throwing haymakers. The left hook put Charlie on his butt. It was all over at that point with Babin locking in the guillotine choke. Nice win. And his father had recently passed, so that was a very
good.
Nice thing.
Kieran Clark and Gorney, I have a question for this fight because
go ahead.
There was a legal up kick that caught Kieran Clark and rocked him, sat him back.
Illegal.
There was one that was legal in the first.
There was also an illegal one.
John, I was getting to it. Okay, I'm
sorry.
You're killing me right now.
So there was a legal.
You're in the argumentative mode right now. I think it's the travel because I can't even get to the part I'm trying to get to say it's the illegal part. There was the one legal one that dropped him, so he was already kind of hurt. Then the second one was he was on his knees and got kicked, and that one looked like completely it knocked him out.
Oh, it did.
He was right arm goes a little limp, straight out, and he went face down to the canvas, and he was kind of doing this. In this situation, why would the ref let him keep going?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't know.
Okay, thank you. I know he went on to win the fight.
Yes, he did. But I would not have done that.
Okay.
The way that he went down, I look at, I can see that you were absolutely, no doubt hurt. You're not faking because you're acting like someone that's been concussed. I'm not going to put you back in the fight. I'm going to disqualify that guy for that shot and make you.
Now you're just Mr. DQ. Hand him out, huh?
Now I'm Mr. DQ like you. That's it, man. No, I wouldn't. And I don't put you back in that fight based upon the fact I do think that you just got concussed, and I'm not going to put you in a position to receive more damage. I said it on the broadcast. Hey, it's only going to take a small shot to put him out. Yeah. And luckily he didn't get hit by it. He was able to get, the choke. Good thing. But yeah, I would not have allowed that fight to continue on as the referee. I would have ended that fight and made Kieran Clark the winner based upon a DQ because Gorney, he actually had 2 kicks that were illegal. And that the last one was bad. It was bad.
And because I asked the commish that we bring, Mazzulli, sorry. I asked Mazzulli, I'm like, why did you let this guy keep going? He's like, it was a legal kick. And I was like, no, the one that wasn't legal, the one we let him go on. And he's like, oh, I'll have to take a look at it. I'm like, well, right in the live situation, like,
well, it's a little late now.
Yeah. This guy shouldn't be allowed to continue.
No, and that's and that's a hard thing. That's again, it's the same as what you're saying, and this is when you're sitting there saying, I would DQ people, I would DQ people, I would DQ people, I would take points, I would take points. You can't. It doesn't work that way because there's limitations of the people you're working with, and there's expectations of them, and they can't. They're not gonna put you in a position to be the person that is starting to create a difference between everybody. But in this situation, this is a safety factor in the fact that you can visually point out, look at him get hit, look at his face, look at where his arm goes. He's unable to control his body. I can't put him back in the fight. And I'm not going to say that was unintentional. It was an intentional kick. He did it on purpose. He is DQ'd from the fight. So,
Poklet is very good. He had a great win over Feraldo with the Bravo choke.
Man,
very nicely done.
Tell you.
And then Hassan Magomed Sharapov was Zabit's brother. I thought he looked really good. I felt like he was a little hesitant in the beginning with Nijelski because of the
beginning of the fight, a little bit slow.
Because of the power of Nijelski, though. You got to be very careful with him. The guy's just built like a brick shithouse. And you could tell that he was having a hard time with, even in the takedowns. Just the control.
You got to figure this was this a catch weight on this one, or was it a featherweight?
It was a catch weight at 48.
But normally Hassan has been fighting at 35.
Yeah.
This was
I think he's becoming a man, though. He's 22 now.
Well, absolutely. This is a step up, and it went even above that.
Yeah. He's good, man. Hassan's very good. Magomed Sharapov. He's really good. Reminds me a lot of his brother, but he just has that style. It just gives people a hard time. Go ahead and scroll down here, Dave, for us. Any other fights on here you want to talk about?
I'm going to bring up two real quick. You had the Dar Kelly fight that you just went past, but Dar Kelly in that, how many times does someone, Josh? It's one. You keep doing the same thing. What do they call insanity?
Yeah,
doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? It's like Dar Kelly has got a good ground game. He likes to pull people. When he gets the back, he pulls and he sets them on top and has his back to the canvas. And we kept saying his opponent, Zegers, is just, he's defending and Kelly can't get rid of him. And it was like, why do you not belly him down? Belly him down. And put pressure on him there, throw shots, make him have to react to the shots, then look for your submission if you want. But it's not all about just, that hand fighting. You're the one creating your own problems. And when he finally, all of a sudden, bellies him down and throws some shots, look at what happens. He was fine. I hope he learns something off of it, because it's a win. You have a lot to learn off of what you are creating as a problem for yourself in the fight game, when there's opportunities for you to get out of the cage with the win much sooner, much easier, much more effective. You got to be a smart fighter.
I'm going to skip all the way down, and there's two guys that I want to talk about and just give them some love. Is Josh O'Connor, this young kid, man. He's phenomenal. Great fighter.
Boy, he looked good.
He looked fantastic.
I'll tell you what, his wrestling was way better.
Yeah.
Way better than I thought.
He did a great job. Kenny, how do you say his last name? Mokohana.
It's not
Mokohana.
Mokohana. That's how he says it.
Okay, so, but Mokohana, he was good on the feet.
He's
not
athletic.
bad on the ground either, but just Josh O'Connor just had the answer for everything. Started utilizing the wrestling, got the takedowns, controlled the top position, just did some work. Great job on his end. And this Mark Ewing kid, man, he is good. Clean on the feet, slick, really relaxed on the feet, a good takedown defense, super athletic. Yeah. Both those guys. And then Bill Ostini, for a big guy, man, beautiful spinning kick to the face. If you guys get a chance to check that out, that was fucking...
He's a big guy that can move. He's got speed.
Yeah, it was very nice.
He's fast.
Yeah, he was fast. He was fast with that spinning kick right to the chops. It's freaking nasty. Well, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. I want to thank you guys so much for following us and listening to us. And David, do you want to throw anything in there? We went for a lot longer than we thought we were going to go.
I'll just let me just throw in this one because I think it'll be interesting to get your take on it. ONE FC signs a deal with DirecTV, and it's the kind of focus of the reporting here is that it's DirecTV business, so they're looking forward to being broadcast in bars and restaurants and things like that. So what does that do for one? Does it do massive things? Does it do nothing? Is it just good to be able to say that? What do you guys think?
Well, like, I guess what channel is it? Like, if it's not, like, well, it's got to be on a channel that those bars have, like UFC Business. I mean, like, or not UFC Business, but DirecTV Business. Like, sure, you're saying bars, but those bars still have to purchase those channels. So what channel is it? You're not going to be on ESPN. You're not going to be on, like, what are you going to be on? And do people have to buy that package, or does it already guarantee you're going to be on that whatever network? I mean, these are the DirecTV.
I think there is a DirecTV business channel. As far as when I say business channel, it's for businesses like bars, restaurants, things like that, where you have a gathering of people that come. There's a package that they have for businesses and sports.
Okay.
And I think this is them, one, signing a deal to have one part of that package.
So that being said, now those networks, though, have to agree to have them on that channel. Right? Like,
no.
So DirecTV produces this and directs this, or they bring it?
They don't. No, they don't. They do not produce it, but they have their own platform,
their own channel
that they can take a sporting event and put it into that package that the business itself can decide whether they're going to put that on the screens or put something else. Like if you're at Wild Wings, they'll put a bunch of them up on there. So I think it's a good look. I think it's a good thing for one. It's not going to make them more money. It's not going to do anything money wise for them. It's what it's going to do is put eyeballs on their product, and that's the real thing. So I think they're looking at it as, hey, the more eyeballs that see our product, the more that are going to like it, and that's a good concept to go with. It's they have a good product. They've got some really entertaining fights, especially in the lighter weight classes. They've got some killers. They just did the Rotong versus Superlek fight, which was, man, I'll tell you, Superlek was all cut up in that damn fight and stuff. But, whew. But again, anything that is there to put eyeballs on your product, that's a good thing. And so, again, this is not going to make them any money. It's not doing anything that way, and they can sit there and talk about how big it is. I think it is big in the fact that it could be, could be 10,000, it could be 100,000, it could be 1 million more eyeballs. Whichever it is, it's all good. Obviously, the more, the better.
Yeah, I just what we have to remember they were on TNT for like 4 shows during COVID, and then they were on Amazon Prime. They were paying for those platforms. And so when we talk about the PFL and the potential of a PFL and Bellator buyout, is that what you're doing, what PFL would be initially doing is solidifying themselves as the number 2. And ONE right now is struggling in that, whether they have good fighters or not, and they have great action-packed fights. That right now you have PFL and ONE and all these other organizations, the smaller ones also, all having to pay for their TV time on whether it's UFC Fight Pass or whether it's on ESPN. Right now, like PFL has to pay for their ESPN time. ONE has to pay for their Amazon Prime, their time on there. They're paying. That's money out on top of your production that you have to pay
instead of money
in. And so these are things right now. I think what I like to point out is that the PFL buying, if it does end up going through and they buy Bellator, that will solidify them as the for sure number 2 organization in the world. There's no way around it. You've just merged 2 of the biggest promotions in the world, and now you have another 300 fighters on your roster, and potentially the argument right now is, even from a lot of the media we talk to that were in the UK, that Amosov and Johnny Eblen are the best two in the world at welterweight and at middleweight. And so you can even arguably say, and I know some of the other guys as well, and Patchy Mix and Pettis. And if Patchy Mix wins it, there's going to be a lot of talk that Patchy Mix is the best, given the media and their conversation and what they've seen in the gyms, in the training amongst all the best 135 pounders in the world. And so that would give PFL a lot of their top level competition they need to go to a network and say, hey, I now have a lot of the best fighters in the world and we can make something happen here. And then they won't have to pay for their time as much. We can actually they'll actually get money. They'll get money from the sponsors and all the other endorsement deals that the networks are able to do and sell. That's going to make them a true number 2 contender. And so with what ONE's doing right now, I think it's a step in the right direction. The more eyeballs on them, the better. But until they can start actually making money instead of spending money, they're going to have a hard time growing the brand. And that's hard. It's really hard, no matter what. And every brand is going through that right now, And so I'm interested to see.
Not every brand.
No, not every brand. They just recorded what, 6, 7. So first 6 months of their 600 million for their first 6 months, $100 million a month. Yeah, that's insane.
Life's hard.
Insane. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our talk and conversation today from our Ireland trip. The UFC at the Apex 79 and Bellator 299 and Bellator 300 is coming up next. But go to WeighingInMerch.com, WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our merch available. I know it's hailing where Dave is at, so you might want to get a hard hat like hoodie from us if we can start making those. But hoodies are available. Get ready for the winter and check us out at WeighingInMerch.com. Also go to OnlyFans.com/WeighingIn. Subscribe to us over there for free. We'll be dropping some extra content this week from our Ireland trip. And John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, I hope you put up with our yawning and our maybe bumbling of some words, but we tried to get this out to you as quick as we could from getting off of the plane. So we hope you had a great weekend. Have a great week coming up, and we will see you.